Hey there, everyone. That sexy nerd is back again, and we're watching one of my favorite off-brand Marvel movies from the mid-2000s, The Punisher. Now, I don't give a damn what he says on this video. I don't give a damn. I care if he's going to be positive about it, because I don't care if he says anything negative about it. I don't care. I know the movie has problems. I understand, but honestly, the nostalgia, I just love this movie so much. And it's not that bad if you think about it. There's no sexual violence, so I mean, which is, makes it applicable for all ages for some reason. But yeah, I always loved, this was like the first Punisher property that I saw that really captured the Punisher. Really, first time I ever saw Punisher was in the Spider-Man animated TV show, the Spider-Man the animated series. And he was kind of a dork in that one. Even though I liked this concept, he was like, I punish those who prey on the innocent. I always thought he was kind of a dork. He kind of looked like a dork. He was all dressed up weird, but it wasn't until this movie. And I even saw before that, I saw the, what's the name of that? What, Dolph Lundgren version? There's a Dolph Lundgren version out there, and obviously he barely speaks in the movie because, I'd give to punish the innocent and punish the weak and innocent or whatever. He just do his Dolph Lundgrenisms, and he remained. I think I remember him remaining silent or just weirdly doesn't say that many lines throughout the entire movie. And like his parents are shot, and Eddie says nothing. But Thomas Jane has plenty to say, and I don't think he's better. Well, I think he's more fully realized than the Disney one, or the one that ended up on Netflix, John Barenthal. I think he's fully realized. I mean, I like John Barenthal's intensity, and he has arguably way better scenes, but someone pointed it out really well that basically the guy is Wolverine. He's like, at the end of the day, the Punisher's supposed to be an absolute psychopath. Like, even if he gets his job done, he's gonna want to kill more bad guys. He's like Batman, but with an itch to kill people instead of beat the hell out of them or put them in the hospital for like 3 years. So, I mean, like that, imagine if they caught... You know what they need to have? They need to have Batman accidentally land in the Marvel Universe, say, like, running right into the Punisher, team up for a little bit, and then he's like, whoa, 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 I'm Batman. And you're crazy. You're sick. So, I mean, but at the same time, if you couldn't tell, I love the Punisher, even though I don't have that many memorabilia on him. I just got a Spider-Man t-shirt because, it was his first appearance. He first appeared in a Spider-Man comic of all places. And, like, that's what the animated series actually remade or whatever. So, and it was a great introduction. And he actually came back and also in the animated series, I had no idea it was him the whole time, but when I rewatched it, the nightmares came back, because that man spider thing, when he turns into the man spider, I had no idea he was attacking the Punisher, but then I remember the nightmares came back, because I was scared shitless when I was like 4 or 5 years old when I first saw that, and I was like, wow, that's scary. Why did Spider-Man turn into a monster? Why did my favorite superhero turn into a monster? But other than that has nothing to do with the movie. I just want to say I love this movie. I enjoy it. I hope he doesn't say anything. I hope he's not too mean to it, because I'm going to have arguments. But with that being said, please smash that like button if you want to see more sexy and nerdy content, and subscribe if you think I deserve it. And remember to sign up for my Patreon for all my latest reactions to all my latest videos. Now let's do this thing, y'all. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy. Remember, so you don't have to. When Deadpool and Wolverine came out, it was not only a big hit,
love this
but it was
movie.
also a fun farewell.
Oh, come on.
A newsflash, a plane's gone down.
My child is on that plane!
Farewell to the Marvel movies that weren't under the Disney name. There were cast members from many of the films, cast members from films that weren't even made,
Yeah.
and even behind-the-scenes footage that paid tribute to what
What?
an
I never
impact these
saw that.
movies had. And this, of course, begs the question,
Wait, I think I saw
why are we pretending these were good?
that.
Okay, the Spider-Man movies were decent until everybody hated them. Occasionally we get a good X-Men movie until everybody hated them.
Hated them.
And,
Daredevil.
oh, the Blade Flicks! Until everybody
Yes.
hated them.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of these weren't good, y'all. But I do have to remind myself, there's a whole generation under me that grew up with these films.
Are you gonna say that the Punisher actually is kind of good?
And for better or worse, they do help shape what these people saw as comic book movies.
So please, oh please, oh please.
One of these that surprisingly gets passed over a lot, though, is The Punisher.
Yeah, why is it passed over? It's because it's not all crazy, that's why.
Not because people say it was a masterpiece or anything, but
was
the
good.
film was a big enough success that it got a sequel. And I think many
It's
can
not a direct sequel, though. It had a different goddamn actor, and I really don't think it ties in with the original movie. I mean, it even has jigs. I never even watched that one, by the way. I do have to watch it. I do. If I can get it for the channel, I will watch it in a heartbeat. But, you know, it's Jigsaw is in there. He's Jigsaw. And he likes to mess with the Punisher. I like Jigsaw better there than that gay-ass version, Prince Caspian version that they did in the show. That was weird. I don't know why the purpose of all that was. Because he's not like the character. He's kind of a crybaby. And he's... what are they? I guess they're trying to say something on veterans or people who can't adjust to military life, but it had nothing to deal with them. And it was just a mess.
Agree, for a 2004 movie, it is very much a 2004 movie. You really can't watch it and guess it came out at any other year, and you could argue there's something interesting about that.
Rebecca
But
Romijn.
still, it's not discussed much. And I guess I never bothered to check it out because, one, I don't know that much about The Punisher, and two, it didn't exactly get the best reviews.
You need to learn
But
yourself some
because people
history.
seem to have nostalgia for comic book
love
movies of
this
this era,
movie.
I guess it does make sense to look back and see why.
You know what it is? It's not that good, but it's not that bad either. I don't, like, at least the people I know who like this movie remember it fondly. So, I mean, it's kind of an enigma that way because really it's underrated. I don't care what y'all say. I don't care. Like, I love this movie. I'm too much of a dork for this movie. There's cool cars, they're shooting people, and people who deserve it. It's like a remake of The Crow. So, yeah, except with all the Magic Crow dying powers.
So let's trade a Dolph Lundgren for a John Travolta.
Yes.
We'll see who gets more laughs. This is The Punisher.
John Travolta.
The film opens, I think, in a Robert Rodriguez movie.
Yeah.
As the credits transition us to some criminal activity.
2 years it took me. You see, Mickey, he doesn't like new faces.
Guy Pearce wearing an Aaron Eckhart mask is pleased as some guns are being traded.
Tommy
But it
J.
turns out it's all a bust.
Oh, I was so looking forward to being the French guy in the Matrix movies.
I don't even know these guys.
Things go south fast as only one of the criminals is left alive. Or so we're led to believe.
Yeah.
Gotta hate this job.
This is Frank Castle, played by Thomas Jane, who works for the FBI and, wouldn't you know it, is one day from retirement.
Frank Castle, the finest man I've ever known. What am I gonna do without you?
Get a girlfriend.
You son of a tool for this. No, you're out of order, loose cannon bunch of tropes, you. Meanwhile, that evil Barbie's dream house.
Honey, have you ever seen that movie, The Punisher?
We see the bad news of the dead
Jesus.
gangsters is delivered, and the only one left alive, named Mickey, is called in for questioning.
Yeah, I remember I saw this guy the first time. I'm like, oh my God, he's so dead. Oh my God, he's so dead. But the whole beginning always confused me a little bit. Like, you know, they said that the son wasn't involved with it, but he was and wasn't. It's creep. It was weird.
Might be comforting to me just to watch the slow death of the man who was supposed to be taking care of my son.
It turns out one of the gangsters killed is the son of Howard Saint, played by John Travolta, who's a powerful mob boss.
The man who's responsible for my son's death must die.
Sorry, new contacts. Did I hit him?
He wanted to go alone. He thought he could impress you or something.
It's
Now
not
bury
his
yourself.
fault.
Meanwhile, Frank starts his...
And also, I love this.
Bury yourself.
You see, he kind of, you see this?
He wanted to go alone. He thought he could impress you or something.
When he throws a
bury
gun on
yourself.
him, he slightly moves. He slightly moves. I'm like, didn't you just get shot? How are you still moving? He slightly moves when he throws a gun on his stomach. That's so, I always thought that was hilarious.
Meanwhile, Frank starts his retirement by going home to his wife, Maria, played by
Basic
Samantha
blonde.
Mathis.
Ooh. Ooh.
Frank starts his retirement by going home to his wife, Maria, played by Samantha Mathis.
Samantha Mathis? I've never heard of her.
This was a hard one.
Yeah, but I said the same thing to you after Super Mario Brothers. He also has a freshly ready-to-die son named
Isn't
Will.
that what she said?
Someday when you're older, Will, I'll tell you why we had to move so much.
Second family, isn't it? No, they're my first family. You're my second family. We cut back to Saint, and you'll find Travolta is a lot of fun in this. And not in the usual Turl or Castor Troy way. He plays everything like he's seething with anger, but keeps himself calm by constantly thinking how he's going to kill the person who angered him.
He made a better John Gotti in this movie than the actual John Gotti movie that he played in, which is really weird. Like, you know, he took this role more seriously than the John Gotti movie that he'd been waiting his entire life to film. Oh, it's so weird.
Now, I understand your grief, but for your own safety, leave this to professionals. Professionals? Yes.
I know a professional scrotum separator looking for work.
Back with Frank, he goes to a family reunion with his
Puerto
father,
Rico?
played by Roy Schneider.
Roy
making a
Schneider!
toast.
It's not Roy Schneider, it's Schneider.
I'm very happy that you're all here.
Oh,
I'm very proud that you're all here.
That's another reason why I love this movie. Despite that really creepy face right there. I paused it at the wrong moment. But, you know, as y'all know, Jaws is my favorite movie of all time. And if anybody is in any movie, I'm going to be like, yeah!
I love you.
Let's all continue to be alive in the most alive way that we can. Yeah. To being alive and not the other thing that's not alive.
I was 14 at the time.
With both of you.
I married you. I knew what I was doing, and I'd do it again.
Till something do we part. It doesn't matter. It's never going to be an issue anyway. Saint finds out who Frank is, though, and orders him to be killed. His wife, Livia, even says, throw the whole family in there while you're at it.
His whole family.
Is this what you want?
He said that like, are you sure? You might get a tummy ache if you kill the whole family. You know what I asked when I first read a Punisher comic? Why does he have a skull on his shirt? I really need that explained.
The guy in the shop said it wards off evil spirits. Not in this
movie.
It also might just look cool if you kill a guy while wearing it. Not everything needs an origin story.
Come on. You just don't understand, though. You don't understand the time-honored tradition. Nobody complains about his origin of his frickin' shirt, by the way, because it's woven into the movie pretty well. It may not go with his actual origin story from the comic, but it's woven. But like it has a purpose in the movie, and it's fulfilled.
Of course, find his family and start shooting him up.
That was crazy. This was crazy. Yes.
Slight delayed reaction. It's like Looney Tunes. He had to realize he'd been shot before gravity took over.
Yeah.
How about a nice barbecue? Before you're cooked into Michael Myers' dummy double.
Yeah, right? He looks like Michael Myers.
Most of his family's wiped out, including his wife and son. And maybe my wife and kid are under those pancakes. Oh no! They shoot him as well and blow the place up.
My
all this...
mother's country. Yeah, seriously, how did he
totally
not die?
Survivable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love people who get a Passion of the Christ worth of pain always end up just limping away. Yeah, walk on one leg. That shows you're hanging on to life by merely a thread. At least now this interrupts Travolta's pipe smoking.
He wasn't walking.
That looks really weird.
I asked you to avenge our son, and you did.
You win sex tonight.
Yeah.
Frank is saved by a local fisherman who, I guess, heals him and lets him stay at his place for a long time, even though I don't know if they ever explained who he was. Oh, wait, there's this brief moment.
It's the
people
boat
around
guy.
here call him a witch doctor. Only one damn fool crazy enough to swim over there.
He did.
Well, I don't know about you, but that's all I need. I don't need any dialogue from this character or anything. I feel like I got him figured out.
The more mysterious the character, the more questions you have.
And despite Yaz being away for obviously a long time, he still heals up like the T-1000. I mean, did you see half of this? And all we got is, is that a little pink on your chest? You should look like the ending of a Ren and Stimpy cartoon. Also, wow, you've been out long enough to grow a beard and have the police show up, yet nobody's cleaned the place yet. Hey, officer, it's been weeks. Can we finally take the police tape down? No, some fingerprints might show up in the sand or something.
Yeah, right.
He, of course, vows revenge and loads up with as many weapons as possible. He first meets up with Mickey to try and get information out of him.
This is awesome.
Talk to you, they'll kill me. What's the torch for?
He tells him the flame will hurt so much his nerves won't feel it at first, and all he'll feel is the cold, which leads to a pretty funny moment.
I love this.
Nobody told me the Punisher was so silly.
Well,
I love how the guy who
wasn't that
arguably
bad.
started all this probably gets off the easiest. Before he tells him in great detail how the crime family works, and discovers he doesn't like the Saints either, so he decides to help.
He didn't really
I
start
hate
it.
the Saints.
You're gonna help me.
I think, too, that unlike most revenge stories where the lead would let everyone still think he was dead, he pretty much announces in the least subtle way possible he's still alive. Which, yeah, if you cut ahead to later, you can kind of see why a lot of these people want them to think they're dead in revenge movies. Oh yeah, they want to find where you live, and
He
that's
don't
a
care.
little easier when they know who you are.
Kevin Nash.
But anyway, he also thinks the police are bought off by the Saints.
It's been 5 months since my family was killed. I don't see one man in jail.
Good point, arrest him.
Ooh.
As you'd expect, he gets to work trying to destroy the Saints' business. Hey, and I thought the Democrats lost the election.
Yeah, wait, what?
Hey, and I thought the Democrats lost the election.
Oh.
He takes out the henchman inside and gives a clear message to Howard Saint.
Wait, what is it?
Hey, and I thought the Democrats lost the election.
Oh, yeah. To be fair, people would be happy, but nope. It's pure fantasy. Not going to be happy for another 4 years and probably even more. Thanks, Trump supporters.
He takes out the henchman inside and gives a clear message to Howard Saint. Who is it me, or does he have a very strange way of summing up things?
Maybe he's still alive because he was meant to suffer more. I don't know. He misses his family and he wants to die. He's asking for help, so let's help him.
You're like The Godfather, written by Shyamalan. Your sentences are just a little off. Even the acting
John
here
Travolta.
suddenly gets a little stranger.
We want our money back, all right? Do you want us to find another banker?
This guy was not very good.
Okay.
Okay.
Did everyone get hit with the just a little weird Ray today?
I love there's a quote that he does later, and I hope he plays it in here about Honduran cigars, my other country. So this whole thing is basically me. Why do you think I love it so much? Is Puerto Rican and Honduran.
Frank sees his awkward but still friendly neighbors are in trouble with an angry ex, so he decides to help them out.
Look at this little punk. Look at this little punk.
Shouldn't play with knives.
They don't shoot bullets very well.
Come on, Patoink.
This is
No!
John, Dave, and I kid you not, Bumpo.
Yeah.
Bumpo's the... Well, you can probably figure out which one Bumpo is.
That sounds like Dumbo's horny brother. How am I supposed to take any movie with that name seriously?
Whatever.
Oh, also,
I like
bet you didn't know this was a musical.
I can hear what you're thinking. All your doubts and
It's like Johnny Cash.
This is like a choose-your-own adventure, except it takes you to different genres. This is Harry Heck. Okay, how many of these characters' names are Cartoon Network shows? Who says he wrote that song for him, he'll sing it at his funeral, and then goes away. Oh, he also tries to kill him a second later. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't expect a series where the main character looks like this to be subtle.
We're gonna have to a gunfight.
I wrote a song about this. It goes, I'll sing it at my funeral. More of Saint's businesses literally keep blowing up in his face, making his clients more angry and resulting in still kind of odd dialogue.
Yeah.
And Mike, if you don't like it, just remember one thing. I've got more guns than you do.
This is how 10-year-olds play gangster. Hey, I'm king of the mafia because I have more guns than you.
Hey.
His neighbors.
No, come on. You gotta say it's not even Cuban. It's not even Cuban. It's Honduran. Maybe it's still later in the movie.
Tried to reward Frank for helping them out by making him dinner.
I'd like us to all say what we're thankful for.
Romaine.
I'm thankful to be alive this year.
Cool, my family isn't next.
I know what it's like to try and make your memories go away.
Leave me
She
alone,
moves
Mystique.
pretty damn fast for the not signals he's been giving, as he can't seem to let the past go. However, a Popeye villain enters to remind him the past isn't done with him either. These assassins are punch-out characters if their boxing gloves were replaced with grenades.
I mean, literally, he's a wrestler. So, yeah, you're not far off.
But yeah, this is pretty fun.
Yes.
It's also so
Best fight.
cartoonishly over the top. I don't think Tom and Jerry could survive this. Frank finally defeats him, but other men are on their way, so the neighbors try to hide him.
Who lives here?
Oh, man.
Ask you a question, fat man.
Show some respect. His name is Bumbo. They start ripping off Dave's piercings, and I'll just say it, a crazy difficult scene to watch.
Yeah.
When the family getting killed is a lighter moment, that's saying something. And they think because Dave doesn't talk, he doesn't know where Frank is. He rises like a Frankenstein monster. Okay, that's a little funnier spelled out. And gives the henchman the chop.
Which is really funny because he actually became Frankenstein in the comics. Oh, yeah. No joke. Read it, buddies.
Say you kill them all. Then what?
Oh my God, Rebecca.
What makes you any different from
only
them?
Annoying me.
Your friend just has face destapled. Is now really the time you want to ask that?
That's what I'm saying.
Frank slowly but surely plants evidence to make it look like Howard's wife is seeing his hitman Quentin. This causes them naturally to turn against each other.
Have you lost your mind?
It was so weird.
But it wasn't enough. Might live.
Well, this wasn't how I planned coming out, but got some news for you.
Don't do this again!
Should have just told him instead of saying do this.
You know, is it odd that the most brutal scenes in this movie aren't from The Punisher?
Hey, right?
Of course, he confronts Olivia next. I'm sure they'll talk it out.
Actually, no. You didn't see the ending. The arm extending scene with the last son. Pretty damn brutal.
She could survive that.
And well,
I don't think she's coming back.
No.
Frank Castle is dead.
Call me.
He died with his family.
This might sound like a weird criticism, but I think the music is a little too heroic for this character.
Maybe.
I'm not even against him being a vengeful, blood-hungry rebel. I'm just against music scoring him like he's the 1990 Captain America movie.
Not vengeance. Punishment.
I just saw a woman get literally railroaded. This is not a charming adventure.
Oh, no.
I bet Orson Welles would get his lines right in that champagne commercial if this happened every time he didn't.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh.
The
French.
Frank shoots up the henchmen, even makes some of them sing opera.
Yes.
Ooh, he could have an album with that voice. And he goes after Howard's other son, who left him for dead on the docks.
Oh, yes.
You look like a strong kid. You must work out. Personnel mine weighs 8 pounds. Try holding it with an outstretched arm.
I mean, maybe the only flaw of this movie is that a lot of stuff happens and you kind of forget. But the first time I saw this movie, I'm like, why the hell is he being so brutal? But then again, he left him for dead. He's responsible for killing his family. So yes, he deserved this fate. And I think this was one of the more brutal parts in the movie.
Hell of a workout.
I'd love to have you as my spotter. Finally, he goes after the big man himself.
You killed my son.
Both of them.
Yeah.
3, actually. I just found out my wife was pregnant.
Oh, that's sad. Can I just say, I am so happy that he's doing this movie. Even though I think he could get a little bit more jokes out of it, I love this movie. It's the right amount of silly and Marvel early 2000s. You know, it's just that perfect microcosm of Marvel and silly.
This all builds up to a gigantic, epic, guess we're done.
No.
Now I've killed you.
They didn't touch you yet.
Well, okay, he does drag him through a literal sea of exploding cars, which honestly just feels like an excuse to have some exploding cars. But on the bright side, look, an excuse to have some exploding cars.
And?
But on top of the effects, not exactly looking the best.
Oh.
It ends on this lame visual.
Shut up! Shut the hell up!
You didn't need that.
Shut the fuck up!
It looks like Xenomorph Garfield. For the one person flying overhead, it'll be like, okay, another day in Tampa.
Shut your whore mouth.
He plans to axe himself off too, but he gets a vision of his wife saying, "Stop it." Which looks very much like a scene that was shot for something else, but I don't know, we had to edit something in there to have this line make sense.
You're right. Good memories can save your life.
I was gonna pull the trigger, but then I randomly remembered. I need to live in a world with that in it. He says he's off to punish others who practice injustice, but he left a ton of money for them before he left. Oh good, that'll cover 1/5 of Dave's medical bills.
Imagine if
I like the last scene. It's supposed to be the big hero moment staring out in the city like you saw in all superhero movies at that time, but because they have no music, it sounds like he's recording a podcast with no views.
Shut up!
Frank Castle is dead. Call me the Punisher.
Please. I'll sub to your channel if you sub to mine.
Shut up. Shut up.
Nah, too late. You made it weird. First you had the musical score to Steel, then you have Absolute Silence, and now you have heavy metal? This isn't a soundtrack, it's a random setting on Spotify. And that was The Punisher. At its worst, it's a little awkward. At its best, it's alright. I think I'm a sucker for movies where a bunch of bad people get their comeuppance by a person who's been wronged. And as those kind of movies go, it has some decent moments. It does feel like a film that needed more time to flesh out its identity, as it does just go from one moment to the next without much of its own style. But there are moments that stick out, sometimes in a bad way, but more often than not in an entertaining way. If it had a little more time, I think it could be a little less generic, but like I said, there are some elements that stick out. Travolta's acting is fun, some of the fight scenes are creative, the weapons can be pretty cool, and of course, there's some really sick, twisted ways he gets back at the wrongdoers. Out of all the Marvel movies that weren't connected to the MCU, this one is the most okay-ish.
Also, to be fair, in reference to his whole saying that those two weren't caused by the Punisher, they technically were. They technically were, because, you know, you even admitted with your that he is sick and twisted ways of getting back at these people. He caused these deaths. So, and God, technically it's his fault that the guy was getting his jewelry ripped out or whatever, the metal ripped out of his body. So, yeah, he is responsible for pretty much all of it.
I'm a nostalgia critic guy, remember? So you don't have to.
Do you want us to find another banker?
No.
No. Oh. Yeah. So I do. I admit, like, it's not the best movie, but for me it's nostalgic. I just love this movie. Again, there are things I disagreed with him on. I feel like if he watches it more, or, you know, maybe if he gets it from a different, like, point of view or something like that, maybe he can appreciate it a little bit more. But I don't know. What did you guys think of this movie? Am I the only one who's alone in this thinking this movie is actually pretty good? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, please smash that like button if you want to see more sexy and nerdy content, and subscribe if you think I deserve it. And remember, sign up for my Patreon for all my latest reactions to all my latest videos. And I'll see you on the next episode.